Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. We post an interview with an amazing Canadian each weekday for your daily inspiration. Today, I would like to introduce you to my dear friend, Laura Hambley. Laura was born in Calgary in the Foothills Hospital. She was a surprise baby of a family that already had 5 teenagers. Busy home. Laura married the love of her life 22 years ago, and they have 3 great kids, ages 10, 12, and 14. They're all very close to one another, and they enjoy spending time together hiking, golfing, and traveling. She also has a mother with end-stage dementia, whom is also in Calgary, and 3 of her 5 siblings are here with their families. Laura also has some dear friends that she loves and supports as well, and she feels that they have a strong community here in this amazing city. Besides her loved ones, Laura is passionate about advocacy work around sex trafficking. She also loves her business and making a difference in the world through combining psychology and workplace, business, and career. Laura also mentioned that she is currently writing a screenplay, so cool, and she loves the game of squash. And you will find her full bio attached. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Catherine the Great.
Funny girl. Are you ready for the questions that we sent you?
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. So, your greatest challenge in the last few months? I always find the answers very interesting around this question.
COVID-19. That's one word. No. COVID's definitely been a challenge in a lot of ways, but it's also, funny enough, I guess I'm one of the rare cases where it's been a huge opportunity for one of my businesses. So since 2003, I've been engaged in the whole topic of leadership from a distance and highly effective teams when you're working apart from one another. And over the last 7 years, I've really evangelized this through launching Work Evolution, which focuses on building high-performing leaders, teams, and individuals in geographically dispersed organizations, or when there's telework programs, flexible work programs, etc. I was a huge advocate of this all along. And when COVID hit, it became a global topic all of a sudden. And it became a topic everyone was talking about. And I no longer had to educate them on why it was an important consideration. It just was a necessary consideration. So we built a whole bunch of really valuable assessments and resources and training and all these, best practices and things that we're sharing. And we're engaged in a lot of opportunities with organizations globally. So I've really become more of a global company, which is really exciting. And I'm looking forward to that. This isn't over. I mean, the workplace is changing, I think, for good in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of need to support the people to do this well, especially the leadership.
I love it. Thank you. And way to go to be way ahead of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were pioneers, and there's many times we wanted to give up and say, what the heck are we doing? We'd have like 1 step forward, 1 step back, and it just was a labor of love type of small business is all I can say. And yeah, I'm glad we didn't give it up, but we almost did.
I'm glad you didn't either. Well done, Laura. And what are the 3 things that you'd like to share?
3 things to leave the audience with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I think I've had a bit of a spiritual awakening over the last 12 to 18 months in my life. And I'd say before that, in psychology, you're trained in the science of psychology. It's very evidence-based. Although we're a soft science, yeah, people work in shades of gray. People are ambiguous, but we're still a science trying to study and understand human behavior and organizational behavior. And I used to think the spiritual side, I mean, I'm a believer for sure, but I used to think the spiritual side was kind of hoo-hoo, to be honest with you. And then over the last 12 to 18 months, I've become more and more of a deep spiritual thinker, and even building that into my work. When a leader is open to it, I go there. I go into the spiritual realm because it's mind, emotion, spirit, those 3 things, and then body, of course. And it's those four elements that we need to consider, all of them working in unison. And some people are further away from being in touch with the spiritual side, and that's okay, right? And I'm certainly not one to judge, because that's the way I've been a lot of my life. So I'd say, I think being more open-minded to the fact that we are all spiritual beings, and being more in touch with the spiritual side, however that means, and it doesn't need to mean organized religion, but I've been doing meditation with Deepak Chopra, fantastic, things like that. I've been doing indigenous healing type ceremonies, fantastic. Whatever it may be, I think just bringing that into your life somehow can make a big difference.
I agree. Having a higher power bigger than us is the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I think we're all connected, and I believe that, you know, in the laws of karma. And I mean, I just believe the more good we can put out into the world and more people we can help, we can combat all the anger, rage, fear that is driving a lot of human behavior right now. I think that good will prevail, but it takes, you know, a concerted consciousness and effort to do so. So, yeah. My second one is, I think at this moment, more than ever, it's really important to be very aware of your values and living by your values, because there's a lot of career uncertainty. And by running a team of career psychologists across the country, we're seeing a lot of people wanting to pivot, wanting to change, to transform. People are ready to shift, but we always say you need to shift according to your values. And whether you're working in an organization and it's stressful and you're overloaded, or whether you're unemployed right now, I think it's really important to keep in mind what's most important in my life and put those ahead of everything, those values, and make sure that they're not getting a back seat.
I love it.
I think that's key in every conversation, whether I work with a leader or someone in career transition, and myself as well. Like I work with a coach myself, because it's so important to remind yourself of what are the big stones, or what are the buckets. I mean, those are different terms for values, but what are the key things that are important in your life and in your work, and better make sure they get attention.
Well done. I love it.
Thank you. Well, I know that you agree, Catherine, and you're a person that really lives by your values.
Thank you.
You do. And you touch so many people, right? Sometimes it's people like you who touch so many people that, you know, we need to support you through these times too, right? All of us need to be supporting each other.
Oh, it takes a village for all of us. I agree.
It sure does. It sure does. Okay, third thing. I'm just reminding myself what my third thing was. Oh, optimism. Yeah, optimism is, so I'm an optimist by nature. There's, you know, optimism is a personality trait that you have, and I believe to some extent you're born with, but then it develops in your environment, and you can become more of a pessimist or more of an optimist. And I think it's really important to embrace the positive, and I mean, not forget the challenges, but not to be a Pollyanna, but to be very grateful every day for, I call it, what are you grateful for today, right? The small things. And someone on my team, I learned this triple W from her. Yesterday I learned it when we were presenting to HR leaders in BC, and her triple W is what went well. So, yeah, so it'll always be what went well. So you can use that for yourself every day. You can use it at the end of your day, what went well today. Or you can use it when you're working with other people, you know, your direct reports, your team, what went well, right? And it just forces the conversation on the positive, and it actually can impact your neurocircuitry to be more positive flow of thoughts.
I love that.
Yeah, it's good, right? Triple W.
Triple
I'm
W.
learning things every day from an amazing team. Gee, okay, so then that's the third thing. Okay, don't let fear get in the way, because fear is false evidence appearing real, and fear can just eat you alive. And that's happening a lot in the world right now. I mean, there's a lot of fear around COVID. Some of it, I think, is causing more mental harm than the physical harm of COVID is causing, which is kind of scary. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree, Laura. I actually think that when they're talking about the COVID numbers and deaths, they should be including the suicides as a result of it.
Yeah, shouldn't they, right?
Yes.
Because those go undetected, and even in the media, they're not reporting much of that. They really aren't, because all the news is COVID, 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 Trump, COVID, 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 you know?
Yeah.
COVID, COVID, you know, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need some critical thinking, and I think it's missing.
I do too. And we opened June 1st, but we opened because some people can see us on Zoom. There's a team of therapists here and career psychologists, but for therapy, sometimes Zoom is not the best, especially if you're doing EMDR, which is a very powerful aid to deal with sleep issues and trauma. We needed to open. We're socially distanced, we have big offices, but our clients are so happy we're open.
Oh, for sure.
And it's bustling. There's a lot of people that need therapy as well as career help. This week is the busiest week we've had in 2020 with numbers of clients. About maybe 30% remote, maybe 40% remote, 60% coming in. I'm probably making that up, but it's a mix.
That's unreal. So what do you think the percentage of the jump would be?
What do you mean?
Like in the increased business as a result, what do you think has changed that way, or has it?
I think more people are needing to deal with their stress. I think their stress, their uncertainty, crappy workplace cultures, like toxic work situations, things. I mean, a lot of people have enjoyed the summer. Some people have had the blessing of getting away on vacations or camping, but I would say that people are getting ready and like, okay, things are going back, school's going back. I think people are just reevaluating and needing to deal with the stress and the fear and anxiety and pivoting their careers, etc. Students, I feel really sorry for college and university students right now. It's really tough time.
Agreed.
Or those that finish a degree or a diploma and they can't get a job. Like, it's just so demotivating, right?
Brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Laura. And what about the legacy or good news story, or what's next? Anything you'd like to share there?
The next, well, I think there's the rise of the human focus right now, which I think it's never been a better time to be a psychologist, actually, because I think people are becoming more and more aware of the importance of the human psyche, or the human wellness, the human emotion, putting people as number one, right? It's causing all kinds of movements and stuff about respect, right? And the Black Lives Matter is an example of respect for people. And, you know, we can't have discrimination. We can't have racism, all of these things. But every human being needs to be treated with respect and dignity. And I think a lot of times, you know, greed, power have been put at the forefront, and it's damaged human beings. And I think this whole COVID crisis is almost like an awakening of the human consciousness. So there'll still be a lot of battles between greed, power, and the human good and the human condition. But yeah, I think the field of psychology can do a lot to influence the importance of the human being.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Thank you. And I agree. We need more of you, Laura.
Oh, jeez. And workplaces can be the worst culprits, right? Like, because you got the politics, and then, you know, when you're working with uncertainty and a shortage of resources, you just see some of the worst human behaviors coming forward. So true. I have to protect myself because I'm a high empath, so an empathetic person, I'll take it really to heart. And I just see so much sadness, but I'm glad though that I have the counseling practice that's helping people through that on the other end of it. So I can try to help organizations, and we do help and make it a real impact on leaders, I'd say. But I can also make sure my team's helping people on the other side of those toxic situations to get well again and heal, because those can be trauma, workplace trauma.
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you so much for joining us today. I absolutely miss you with all my heart. I can't wait to see you in person again.
You too. Well, we will soon. I mean, Kensington's open for business.
Yeah,
There's lots of rooftop patios. mean, I do walking meetings. I mean, walking meetings are just wonderful, right?
Absolutely.
By the river, right?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura. It was great chatting with you today. Thank you for your words of wisdom. I appreciate it very much.
You too, and stay well, Catherine, and everyone. And yeah, I think we'll all get through this. We're a very strong community here in Alberta. We've been through a lot, but we're resilient.
Well, we have 40 below. I mean, if you can get through that. Thanks again, Laura.
Exactly. Yeah, no problem.
Everybody, that
Take
was
care.
Dr. Laura Hambley. Check out all the great work that they do. She's got a few businesses and always helping everyone that she can. I appreciate you joining us today on Cat's Track, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.